Welcome to the 1% Club, where we talk about small changes that have a real impact every episode. Today, I'm so lucky to have a guest on who will share their experiences. It's still the same mission, though. We're keeping it simple by focusing on how we can keep learning and improving. I can't wait for you to hear from them. Let's go. For anyone listening or watching and they don't know anything about you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, for sure. Hi, thanks for having me. So, my name is Nishita Sahni. You can call me Nish for the sake of this podcast. And I have almost 14 years of work experience working as like a software engineer. Currently, I'm working with The Economist as a senior staff engineer. I think I've done nearly everything: enterprise architecture designing, delivering a project which is highly scalable, basically training an entire brand new engineering team to a new technology or whatnot. Basically, I recently finished a digital transformation for my organization. That was like fun to do. So basically, nearly everything. So currently, my role is more like a technical architect. I mainly work on technologies like .NET, React, and AWS ecosystem. And yeah, that's pretty much all.
Awesome, thank you. So my son is off school today, so he'll probably be walking in and out the background. You remember Jasmine, don't you, from when we worked together? I don't think you get to meet Shiv, but I'm sure if he comes in, he can come and say hello.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
And I have seen both of them. Sorry, I follow your wife
do
religiously.
you?
Religiously, honestly, I'm a fan of her
Wow.
already. So I know Jasmine, I know Shiv, and I think they make videos with their mother like quite a lot. So
They do.
he's more of a celebrity already.
Oh wow. Okay, I'll pass that on. She'll be pleased to hear that. Cool. Okay, so I usually have a couple of icebreaker questions just so I can learn a little bit more about you, but also the viewers too. So the first one is, if you could instantly master one random skill, nothing career related, what would it be?
So I thought about it, not just for this, for, not just for the sake of this podcast, but actually previously also. And I think I would like to be in different places at once. So, being a person who can do multiple things at once at the same time. I'm a passionate traveler, so I want to continue doing that and, meeting new people and learning new technologies or cultures and whatnot, right? So I would say I will like that, not just professionally, because that will definitely help, but personally also. So I think I can do a lot because I tend to have a long to-do list. I want to learn many skills and many things at once, and I'm struggling with time. So I think
Yeah,
that's something I would love to experiment with. Yes.
there's not enough hours in the day, right? So being able
True.
to multitask and do 100 things at the same time might I can see how it's useful. Yeah. And the next one is, tell me something that you find completely ordinary, but it still blows your mind.
I think recently the definition has changed for me. So last month I traveled to Japan, and honestly, the way they have solved very basic problems like day-to-day's problem uh, using technology, of course, and how much they have put their brains to solve that problem is really great. For example, like how to make sure that you're having like a fresh meal. So they have a system created around that, so you can actually have like a full 7 course meal just by going to a convenience store, and it's quite, you know, uh, cost effective as well. Similarly, be it the traffic lights, be it how they manage. Things for like physically impaired people. So everything has a sound, everything is like well uh, managed, everything, everyone follows to it. And other than that, how they have kept their traditions and cultures within each and every problem they are solving. So there's a physical human touch to it, as well as they are very grounded in terms of keeping their culture, how they are actually keeping their language everywhere and making sure others are adapting to it, and not just English or something like that. So you will see the touch of culture, you will see how it's helpful, and eventually you just get adapt to it. So I believe it's very ordinary. We also face such problem, but we are not thinking of solving it because we feel it's like bare minimum. But the way we can actually use technology to solve all these bigger issues, yeah, is amazing. Yeah.
So what I was saying was that I was doom scroll on on YouTube or on Twitter, and you always see these clips. Japan are living in 3025 or something, and the simple problems that we find here, they're already like 10 steps ahead, and they've come up with some innovative solutions for it that just seem amazing, and it just solves the problem. And that's really cool. You got to experience that.
Yeah, and I think everyone should at least travel once, because I travel with strangers, honestly, and I actually am a big fan of Japan, and I wanted to go there for culture and experience this firsthand. But lots of people who traveled with me just treat it like a normal vacation, just another destination. But after 1 week, they all are actually acknowledging, this is working well and this is nice. And honestly, the food, the nutrition value and all of that, I must say, if you go to Japan once, you probably won't see the world the same way. It's that impactful. So
Opens your mind.
yeah, it opens your mind, and you basically can see how can you do these things for your own country, and maybe go in that direction. So yeah, it's really eye opening, and how technology plays a very big role in this whole activity. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. So this section is called the 20-minute Kaizen, and Nishita, you're going to set the context, what kind of organization it was, the team, and what was the improvement that you wanted to make, or list of improvements that you wanted to make. How did it go? What kind of impact did it have? And did you learn anything after those improvements? I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, so yeah, thanks, Kiran, for setting the context. So basically, I'll just share a little bit about my company first. So I am working with The Economist, and there is a functional unit that I'm part of, which is called ERU, and it stands for Economist Intelligence Unit. So I was part of this project where we have to move away from a legacy client-facing application. And I'm going way in the past, like 4 years back. So the technology we were using was kind of 2 decades old, and of course our clients are quite adapt to seeing the old UX and all UI, and we used to say, okay, these are old clients and they like this way. But we wanted to do the experiment because we wanted to run with the rest of the world. We can't just simply say, okay, this is how it works. So we decided to do the experiment, and we wanted to build something brand new. When we say brand new, one of the hesitation that we see everywhere is people don't want to upgrade, be it technology, be it product. Again, the people who are managing legacy, definitely not. So this is the place where we started experimenting. We set up the entire brand new team, not that big, but very small team. And then we started building. So in the first phase, we have built just one product. We introduced new tools, new fancy tools, like because we were learning about serverless that time, and we were learning about Elasticsearch and whatnot. And eventually we build it. And today we have our entire ecosystem running on the same architecture, which really helped out. So I think one thing I wanted to mention, maybe from the very scratch, that helped us, right? So of course, this is a long journey where we have met many managers, many leads, and we took their learnings one by one, and then we reached to this point. But one thing that was a kickstart, we got introduced with a tool called Team Charter. I don't know, Kiran, if you remember, right? I was the first one to run it, and I got nightmare. I don't know why and what is this, and suddenly I just hear a word called Team Charter, and I have to do something.
Is this, just for people listening who may not know, is this the team charter where it's essentially talking about the individuals on the team, and it gives a bit of information about them, how they're like working, kind of team rules and things like that?
So that was user manuals. I wanted to share about that also. So we got introduced with two tools. One is Team Charter, another one is user manuals. So I'll give a little bit of context around these documents, because this is like a new thing, and probably now more people are using it, but not everybody who's aware of it. So team charter is kind of your promise to your team. You're starting a new team. What is your objective? What you want to do? What is your core values as a team? And you basically promise, just like a pinky promise to your team, that for next 3 months you're going to follow these rules. This covers everything: the date and the time of your stand-ups, your retros, your way of working, right? And basically you pledge through that. So that's an activity. Who are your stakeholders? Who are your tech leads? Who are your product leads? How they will work, and how will you want them to conduct? And then one of the part of that team charter is the user manual, where everybody writes about themselves. They actually tells about their way of working, their preference, if they like to talk, if they don't like to talk, what kind of character type they are, and everything, right? So their ways of working, and you have to adhere to that. So if someone don't like you to message after 5 p.m., you will not do it because you agree with their user manual and the team charter you promised. And this helped, right? Because first time it was scary, because first 3 months we were kind of dreadful, feared, because we promised something and everybody's like pointing back to it. But eventually, it's been more than 4 or 5 years, we are following this practice. So we are not doing it every time there is a project, but we are doing it every time there's a new team which comes into existence. They agree with their norms, they introduce, and this really helps with the vendors. So we tend to work with multiple engineers from multiple teams. There was a time it was more like 50-50, and we were working with 3 vendors who were working on different areas. And this really helped because everybody is following the same ways of working, everybody is doing the same thing, and we came together. So this is one tool which really is a very minor 30 minutes activity we did together, and everybody is on the same page. Similarly, we have like user manual. It's one-time activity, and it helps you for the rest of your career in the organization, right? Every time you change something, your designation change or your ways of working or the timing change, just go to the document, update it, and everybody in the organization will get to know that this is the change. So this is like a very small thing, but we're continuously, building on top of it. I can actually share one more example, which is a very small but a powerful example. So, like I mentioned, I was working on this 2 years long transformation journey within my organization, where we are rebuilding all our publishing tools. And when we were doing the integrations within the project, it was quite fast running project. Within the project, one of my engineer mentioned that, we should have like a daily connect, just engineer focused, so that engineers can actually openly ask questions, and they can actually just be candid, right? Because you know how we used to be when we were developers, and even today we don't like talking. We just want to get our question asked, answered, and then eventually you're good to go. So same thing happened, right? So he suggested, let's have like 30 minutes call every day, and then you're good to go. I will not disturb you for the rest of the day or anyone in the team. I'll just do my work. So we created this meeting, and which is almost been 2 years now. It's helpful because every morning I connect with my team just candidly. We talk about their life, we talk about work, we talk about any complaints or any frustrations they want to share, and they're good to go. And they don't have to go back to different people then. They just ask questions within their group, and then we decide the next steps, and we're good to go. So these kind of small improvement, we learn from one another and then grow from. Having said that, it's not like just one-sided conversation. We tend to have retros every 2 weeks, every sprint, and we just make a practice to share what worked well for us versus what's not working for us. We actually run a loop of 2 weeks. Like if we want to introduce a new process, let's say we want a different kind of board to be created, we'll just say, okay, let's do it for 2 weeks. If you like it, it's fine. If not, then we'll do another 2 weeks of feedback, and then we'll close it. So yes, no, maybe, and this kind of exercise we run every day. And anyone who joins our team, this is the first thing we onboard, right? So if you want to share a feedback, this is your time, and be more candid. So yeah, I think this covers mainly things like I wanted to share. But yeah, any questions, Kiran?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one is when you were going through that digital transformation, was I there? Was I there at this halfway through, or is it after I left? So I think I was there maybe 2020.
Yeah. So the digital transformation I'm mentioning is more around the publishing tool that started 2 years back.
Sure,
And
yeah.
it's still going on in the organization. So we are changing our publishing systems, visualization
Nice.
systems, forecasting systems.
Yeah.
But you were part of the first build, which is where we were building ViewsWire. So that was our first
That's
product.
it. Yeah.
So you were there when we did the first experiment with the first
Yeah.
product called ViewsWire, and that turned out to be a success, and now everything is migrated. We don't have anything legacy.
Awesome. I was thinking I should remember that digital transformation, but it was after my time. Cool. You mentioned two or three things there that I want to pick out on. I think one of them was the team charter, which you introduced. Was there any resistance from either management or any of the people part of the team to do something like a team charter or to do something like your user manuals? Because from my experience, it doesn't always land very well with people. Sometimes they think, is this a waste of time? Could I be doing something else? Could I be getting on with my tasks, my code, my testing, whatever it is? Did you face any types of resistance?
Yeah, I think I was the first one to resist, honestly, because we were very happy in our cave, right? As I mentioned, right, when we started all of this, and it was all new terms for me and everyone. So I think yes, definitely. First time, I think I faced resistance from nearly everyone, but I was the guinea pig eventually who had to run it and eventually onboard the team. Even today, when we run like these meetings, people feel like, okay, does it really make sense, or do I need to spend 2 hours doing all of these documentations? Why I should write about me? Just come and ask question, right? So different people like to work in a different structure. Some people don't want to even share about themselves, right? It's just like basic things also. So yes, definitely we face lots of pushback, not just from the technology people, but also from the delivery product, right? Because everybody's just trying to save their time. I don't know why, but I think they also understand the value of it. So that's the reason I think all the old timers, I would say, we encourage to actually have these documentations, because this actually keep us honest. So
Yeah.
sometimes if someone comes and tell you like, can you do the 10 more things? I would say, okay, sorry, I'm booked for like next 3 months. Can you go back to my leads and stakeholders and put it on the roadmap? So I think these things help over time, and I think you need to understand the bigger picture. This is exactly what we do. So just one more point to add here is that most of my team at the moment are at the senior the software engineer level, right? So we have majority of senior people. So I think most of the people understand and they know the bigger picture. So that's the reason that the resistance has been way reduced, right? Honestly, but I think everybody know the value of doing all of that. I know nobody wants to do an extra meeting, but these things help. And as I mentioned, they are not building new teams quite regularly, right? So we do it like 6 months or maybe maximum in once in a year. So it's fine. It's fine that way.
And last question on the team charter and the ways of working. How did it get introduced to your team? Did you come up with it, or did someone else from outside of the team, or was it leadership? How did it get introduced?
So basically, it got introduced from one of my manager who used to be the CTO of the company. So he introduced this to us because he was doing and he was leading us to this digital transformation experiment, like I mentioned. So he introduced this tool, and not just this tool, but many other tools to us. And eventually, we pick it up from there and take that road, because it's not just us. It also needs to be followed by the vendors we were working with, cross-functional teams we were working with. So it's basically a blend of all of that. Yes.
I don't mean to name drop, but was it Alan or Frank or someone?
Yeah, it was Frank.
Was
It
it
was
Frank?
Frank.
Okay, okay, cool. I remember. Okay, yeah. Just on the whole team charter thing, I know you say sometimes other people may not see the value in it because it feels like you're taking time away from the work itself, but it's like these small little checkpoints once a year, twice a year, where you can regroup as a team to reflect on the changes, new people coming, people leaving, to help you continue working in that way. So I think it's very valuable. And the last question that I had, so you mentioned an engineering lead or one of your engineering counterparts introduced a 30-minute daily check-in. Now, was that separate to your daily scrums or your daily stand-ups with the teams? So it was separate, and was the purpose of it just to group as people and talk about anything and everything, or was there a specific agenda for that specific 30 minutes?
So it's actually an engineering connect. So it's not like a stand-up. So stand-up is mainly for like everyone, every stakeholder joins it, and even the cross-functional team members join it, and then we discuss about what's going on. But the morning meetings are mainly for engineers and engineers to be more candid. So in the scrums, we don't actually go that technical. So we either have to wait for the elaboration call, which happens like once in a week, or we probably need to schedule like a one-on-one with the tech lead, right? And then again, the information basically get lost in between those two people, right? So that's the reason we wanted to have something more team based, and it's not just engineers, but QA engineers also join that call. So if they have any problem, if they are facing issues with mainly processes, so they ask it like openly. And it's not always the tech lead who knows the answer. Sometimes the team member can easily say, okay, this is the reason, and I'll pair with you. Having individual mobbing calls and pairing calls is also something we recommend. But as I mentioned, we were working on this digital transformation, so everything was quite fast paced. So you have to like move things around quickly. So that's where this helped, and that's where we come up with this meeting, and we basically ask questions there. It's actually good and useful for the team to actually connect somewhere like that, and we basically candidly ask about, how's the weather, or how's health, what's going on in your house, what's cooking basically. So it's actually give an opportunity for the team members to basically share everything and nearly talk about everything, because you're busy 8 hours, right? You're not getting time to just like talk to people. So this is an opportunity. You start your day with discussing, unblocking your task, and also talking to people.
I can see that being really powerful, because sometimes in a daily stand-up, as an example, where you have business representatives there, maybe you can't open up as much as you could with your engineering peers, right, who are probably facing the same challenges or struggles with whatever they're building or testing. And it's nice that there's a separate space for that type of conversation.
Shorter meetings, right? So we try to finish our stand-ups in 15 minutes, and we talk from like what is in production, what is in dev, and what is in progress, like everything. So not just stakeholders, we don't have enough time also, because our team's size is almost like 10 to 12 people. Right, and going through 10 to 12 people in like 15
Takes
minutes
time.
is also something we discourage, right? So we just go through like tickets quickly and then see if there are any blockers. And we want to stick with 15 minutes because that's the standard we are following, and that helps. Otherwise, you can keep on like talking and the meeting goes on for an hour. How we people are. We can talk for really long. So yeah, I think that's another reason. 15 minutes is not enough time to be personal and talk about the stuff. So we
Very
avoid
focused.
that. Yeah, very focused.
Again, for context for people listening, this next segment is called Where Did It Go Wrong? And this is where Nish is going to talk about some decision or some specific scenario in her career where she tried to do something, it maybe didn't quite work out the way you wanted to. And again, the floor is yours, and looking forward to listening to this.
This has happened with nearly every engineer once in their lifetime, right? Or at least once in their lifetime, maybe more than that also. So sometimes we're trying to solve a problem and we basically over-engineer it because maybe we are not aware of something, or maybe we are doing something for the first time. Maybe the technology is new, right? So I think this, and I think it's not just once. I have like 100 examples I can give you, right, where things I thought is the right thing to do, and then someone comes and say, okay, there's a 2-button solution I can give you, and you can actually use this tool. So yeah, I think my examples are more around where we over-engineered, whereas with technologies we have grown, out of that. I'm old school. 14 years back, we used to do things very differently, and today things are quite readily available, right? So, for example, creating a presentation and creating a dashboard is very easy in today's world with technologies. Like we used to create it from scratch. So, so I think one of the solution is that I was trying to so within this digital transformation project I mentioned, right? So we were trying to solve a problem where we wanted to get rid of one of our application, which is responsible for creating multiple products based out of a single content we are using. So we can actually create different kind of subscriptions, and the same article can be added to various subscriptions. So you don't have to publish an article like 3 times, 4 times based on each subscription. You can just do it once, and it will actually serve as a solution. So what I was trying to do is, because again, I was trying to do things old way, I was trying to solve this problem by publishing again the same article thrice, because I was just giving the suggestion to the analyst, right? Okay, there's an article, just copy it 3 times and then publish it. And then I uh, quite fought for that solution, right? Because again, that's my job, right? Eventually, I got to think, right? And I think one of my technical architect, he made me realize that, you're trying to solve a problem from, again, legacy perspective. With this new tool, you should think about like, how can you solve the problem, for the analyst, who is our end user in this scenario. And true, because what we have done and turn out the solution is just like publish it once. You have a configuration file that we maintain on our code side, and that configuration is managing the multiple publishing and assigning different entitlement on a single article, right? Whereas what we were trying to do is we were increasing work for the analyst to do things multiple times. And analysts are not like technology people, right? In the legacy system, because of the limitations, we have to copy everything and then publish again, and then that create like other problems. But in the new system, everything is quite flexible, and we were just designing at that time, we were just designing the solution. So this is where you sometimes over engineer things, because you're thinking again from your experience, and this is an opportunity where you open yourself, ask for suggestions. So I took suggestion from this person. He made me honest, and eventually, trust me, so the current architecture is far more robust. It's been more than a year that we are publishing from the new system. Another example of such a scenario where we do over engineer is then when we don't talk to each other. So we just like got a problem. We're like, okay, I would like to solve this problem. I will do my own research. And then we are not understanding and talking how the application works. So I think that's where we have these regular technical elaborations where we talk about the bigger picture. So when we are making a change in the application, it's not just one class. We are actually making an impact in the entire ecosystem. And we also have to think about future of how these things can be scaled. And that's where your technical lead or the architects come in picture, and then they give you a bigger context. So most of the time we do over engineering when we are not listening, and when we are not ready to adapt something new which is coming our way. And this happened with me. I learned from there, and this is the lesson I always share with my team, that this happened with me, this can happen to anyone. We all are human, so we have to be open in terms of solving a problem. Because trust me, in life, there are there's no problem, first of all, which can't be solved, and there's not just one solution to it. Is my mantra. So you should keep an open eye of the solution that you can actually look for, and basically learn from one another.
I agree. I agree. So going back to when the technical architect gave you this feedback, where were you in your stage of your career? Were you still junior? Were you senior engineer? And how did you take that feedback?
So we were working on this project together, and that was about year and a half back. Because I was designing this digital transformation architecture, so we were at the discovery phase, and we were working together. So both of us were working together on this initiative, and of course, we tend to have like conversations on each and every topic. We used to say, okay, problem A, let's spend like 1 hour just, debating on it. And then
Mm.
that debate basically takes one direction over another. And we also used to, because the person I'm mentioning to, he's a very senior member of the community, and he has quite extensive experience. So sometimes, these mature people, they talk about kind of a bookish facts, but sometimes they help, right? So when you're working, you tend to forget about what is the standard principle, what are the theories that I have to follow. And these kind of people, I would say, keep us honest. And I think this is one of the situation where we were seeing, because I'm working in the company for almost 5 years and I'm designing something, and then someone comes and see the architecture from outside. Of course, their feedback is going to be very valuable, and I took it very positively. I think, of course, you as a human being, uh, as a individual, I don't like debating, and because a developer in me uh, don't like others saying things about my code, about my way of working. But at the same time, a staff engineer or a technical architect in me look for feedback, because if I can see a problem right now, that will be less of a problem when the architecture will be implemented, and we can take it from there.
Um, yeah, the reason why I ask, because I can imagine if it was me who's created something and shared it with the team, and someone else would say, hey, actually, Kiran, this isn't the best way to do it. You might want to do X, Y, and Z. Right now, I would take it very well because I'm a bit more mature. But I can imagine 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, I would not have taken it very well, because it's like, hey, this is my baby. I've just created this thing and it does the job. It's working. What's wrong with it? Right. But it's not always, it's working great, but there could be a better way to do it, which can have a better impact on upstream, downstream impact systems.
Where I think most of my senior team members on my team are struggling, right? Because I think so I think you can actually say it's your personal nature, right? So if you're a person like that who are inclusive, you can actually adapt easily. But if you're a person who has been fighting for your code for good amount of time, you probably will not be that easy to adapt, and then you feel frustrated, honestly, right? Because it's just a matter of who's more experienced and who's right. And sometimes you both are right. You just have to agree, right? And I think this is something which we all are learning, honestly, because I believe with experience, with maturity, there is a learning opportunity everywhere. The person who feels like I know everything is the most I would say uh, delusional.
I
Because
was thinking the exact same word. Yeah.
because I believe there's nothing like that. Because even if even if I'm going to a meeting, maybe sometimes the junior most team member says something which makes sense, which is more clear, right? And you basically learn from there. So there's no senior, junior, or any kind of hierarchy we follow here. So within our organization, everyone is at the same level. If you're part of a team, you're at the same level. You can actually ask the right question. You can actually lead meetings. You can actually handle clients, anything. So we kind of work in a very different culture, which actually helps. And also, uh, you basically respect each other. So we don't actually appreciate if someone is saying, okay, I'm more senior, I'm your manager, I'm going to do certain things. No. So it's like within a team, everyone is at the same level, and we grow from there.
The last thing that I'm going to mention is that it sounds so ideal. The culture, the environment that you have there within your team that you and your peers have created. And since I transitioned into the role of Scrum Master Agile in the Agile field, that's the type of environment that we want to create, right? But it's not always possible and it's very difficult to do. But so it's really cool to see and speak to someone who is living in that environment. And it sounds like it was created from within. So it was created by your peers, by your engineering peers, all with the intent of trying to maybe work better, trying to be open, trying to empower everyone to make decisions, ask questions. And again, it's all the stuff that you read in books, right? It's all the stuff that I read in books. I take exams on of how to do these things, but it's nice to see that you're living that experience.
And it's not always easy, right? So you will say now, Nishita, you're actually going back and telling me the drawbacks, right? So not everybody adapts, right? So I'll be honest around that. So we are building this culture, and if and the people, I must say, the people will listen to this podcast and maybe just realize where they are, because there are still people in the team who feels like, this is not the right way of working. They still are so engraved within that, manager pushing you kind of setup. They are not understanding how flexible things are here, and they are just trying to, push back all the time. So I believe, yes, we are trying to build that book kind of culture, but it's not always easy, because different people are coming from the different background, and everybody has their own insecurities, right? So yes, we are trying our level best, but it's not 100% there, but we are trying. We are basically, and I think every organization should try, because if your people are happy and they are respected and they are included in decisions, it's a long way. Actually, you can run for a long run, and yeah, I believe this is something everybody's seeking, right? So because most of my team members, when I talk to them, they want to stay, they want to do better work, they definitely are looking for new projects and bits, because I think they are getting that flexibility. So there's no a hard timeline we have to follow. Our company is remote first, so we basically work from home. We are empathetic around, people's responsibilities, because they are new parents. Their parents, there are people who has like old parents who are taking care of them. There are people who are living in different part of the country, so we adapt according to them also. So I'm really glad that we are getting this flexibility first from the senior leadership, as well as our team members are quite inclusive.
That's really important. You mentioned that as well. Like it's top down as well as bottom up, right? In the traditional hierarchical sense, like your managers, your leadership are saying or setting the example, but then also as a team, you are also respecting that and adhering to that as well, which is great. And I guess your team charter, your ways of working, you mentioned earlier, just small changes, these small things that you do, that all leads to help creating this culture that you have. So it all adds up eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Nice.
even in terms of work also, we and again, I've not mentioned a part of technology. So even for the technology, we follow something similar. So if you want to do an upgrade, it actually adds up to our JSM, and I think eventually we just say, okay, this is next in the roadmap. We make sure the people are clear with like 6 months what they're going to do in next 6 months time. So these kind of small things which are coming in, we are changing the technology also. We are just trying to improve on it, so it's actually coming from all sides. I can actually talk from more from the project and technology side, but it's actually coming from delivery and the product and so on as well. So everybody wants to be transparent, and this is kind of a culture that at least in the economist intelligence teams I've seen, and made sure that we keep it this way.
It's amazing. I think I'll end on saying I worked in that team for the Economist and the EIU for a short period of time, 3 or 4 years, but it was one of the best groups of people and the organizations that I've worked for in my career. It always sticks in my mind as that team. That's like it's the place that I want to go, and that's why I don't try and compare like teams that I work with now or subsequent teams, but it's just I know what good looks like. I know what a good culture looks like. I always reference in my mind that period of time. So no, that's really awesome. And I guess finally, do you have any questions or anything you want to share or promote?
No, I think I'm good. I am really happy. Thanks for inviting me. Good to talk to you, Kiran.
Likewise. Thanks, Nish.